MMA UK, Abdul Patel. I am here with the phenomenal Bailey Gilbert. Bailey, how you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Living the dream.
Living the dream. So, talk to me, man. It's been a while since I last caught up with you. I think it was Golden Ticket 18. I think was the last one we saw each other. Or it might have been 19. But you just not long fought the incredible Thomas Paul, um, and you took him out first round. Talk to me, like I think there was a lot of people that there was a lot of hype around Thomas Paul and him being on Dana White's Contender Series, and him being on this massive winning streak, and you come in there first round and annihilate him. And when I say annihilate, blood everywhere, annihilate. So talk to me about your preparation, about your mindset, and about the fight itself.
Yeah, man. So obviously, when I got offered the fight with Thomas, I just thought, like, that's the name I want on my record. That's a scalp I want straight away. That's a massive fight, especially off all the Contender Series stuff as well. Like, coming off that, like, there's the opportunity right there to beat this guy, and like, it was a great fight for us as well. And also, I spoke earlier in the essay, and I wanted the golden ticket featherweight strap, and that's what I was going for, and that's what everyone was talking about after I beat Robbie Scott as well. So to fight him for the strap on the golden ticket, which is probably the best regional show in the UK, I think it was a great opportunity. So preparation wise, it's the same for every fight. Like, every fight that I have is the next biggest fight of my career, because you're only as good as your last one. And I've just balls to the wall, just training, just non-stop. And it was straight in as well off another fight camp. So I pretty much done an 8-week camp, had a fight, and then it was straight into another 8-week camp. So I was the fittest I'd ever been, the strongest I'd ever been. My skill level just keeps progressing. Like, with just being 23, like, I'm constantly developing new skills, and I'm a different fighter every time I step in there. So I'm unpredictable as well. So, like, we've gone from subbing people to TQ in the last 2 people I've fought. So it's just getting better.
I mean, and that shows, credit where credit's due to yourself, your team. No rest for the wicked, straight into the next one. And I mean, especially for someone that likes of yourself, you're very young. You're in a pro career. You've had a couple of bouts now, but there's I think when I mentioned this, I'm talking about the fighters who, they're not interested in having rest and building up a camp. You believe in your sort of training, your team, and it's like, right, this one's done, straight on to the next one. And the proof's in the pudding, man. Like, you went in there and you took out a top elite MMA fighter in Thomas Paul. And not only did you take him out, like, it was a masterclass of wrestling, of ground striking. And for someone like yourself, who's known for your submission, for your jiu-jitsu game, to go in there and ground and pound and smother this guy who's known for coming out explosively and putting guys on their ass. I think you put a lot of haters to silence, and a lot of people are like, wow, this guy's the real deal. And at 23 years old, sky's the limit. And yeah, like you said, with the Dana White Contender Series and the hype behind Thomas Paul, at any moment did you feel like there was the pressure there, or did you feel like, I'm going up against someone that is like elite of the elite?
I knew it was my biggest competition yet, and to date, like, it was my hardest opponent. But I treat them all the same. Like, everyone can bang in 4-ounce gloves. Like, anyone can put you on your ass, anyone can put you out. So they all get treated the same. And once you accept the fact that you probably are going to get hit at some point, and you're probably going to feel it, you just got to weather the storm, because that was the plan. Was that he was going to come out heavy-handed in the first round and try and take us out, and I was going to drag him into deep water. But then I seen the opportunity for the finish, and I went for it, because finishes is what gets you places, and it's exciting. So it's what you got to do. So I treat every opponent the same. Everyone's the next big thing. Everyone's the next best win for me. So I just take it all the same.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, fair play, and it goes to show, like, really in your game plan, your skill set. It goes to show that, like, you are a, one of this country, I believe, top prospects in MMA, and someone to definitely watch out for. And it was a bit of a odd turnaround because I watched the BFC fight, and it was kind of. I was kind of like, who is this guy in there with Bailey? Because it was like he's like the matchup didn't seem quite right. From my perspective, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I just thought this guy's fighting for a title against Bailey, but Bailey's like, he's worlds apart from this guy. And then you went in there and then did that to Thomas Paul, and it's like, well, we have to acknowledge this guy. And so what was your thoughts on that whole? Because obviously I've not caught up with you for a long time, and I want to speak to you about the whole title fight in BFC and how you thought that went down as well.
Yeah, man. So basically, what happened there was I weighed in, and then Yaya came forward and said he was having visa issues. He couldn't get over to the country, so we just had to find someone to step in, fighters, and luckily we've got someone sorted. And it was all a bit of a madness because I'd weighed in, and then I didn't know if I was fighting. But yeah, so we got that one out the way. That just it was what it was, and these things happen. So, but then to get on to fight Thomas Paul, like that one was already booked like ahead of time. That's the thing. Like that active, I've always got like I had another fight lined up after that, which was crazy. So I knew I was going to be straight back into camp and ready for that one. And that one was the big fight that I was bothered about, and to win on golden ticket. Like we say, it's a top show. So to have that, and then like the opportunities that are going to come from that now, and to get a win over Thomas Paul, like you're saying, it's good things are coming, man.
Yeah, and like going back to the Thomas Paul fight, this is something I speak to Christian Leroy Duncan about a lot as well, because he's very flashy with his knees, his elbows, his strikes.
Yeah, man.
I the skill is there for people to use, but you don't seem to see it a lot where people throw their elbows. Obviously, you capitalized on that. Talk to me about the opening. Like most people would result in ground to pound, or look for a submission, or even try and revert to a heel hook, and so on. But you obviously saw that you had space to use your elbows, and you went in there in savage mode. So talk to me about that, like about your mindset at that time when you thought, okay, let me drop some elbows on this guy.
Yeah, man. So like ground and pound's like a big part of my game. Like I've always been a grappler, but I wouldn't even say I was a jiu-jitsu guy. I would say I'm more like an MMA grappling kind of guy, where like my jiu-jitsu is all right, but then once you add the ability to punch an elbow and throw a few knees and stuff in there, then my game changes completely. And anything that hurts is my kind of style: knees, elbows, things that cut people, things that are going to do damage. And I think, like, especially when people are trying to tie your arms up and stuff, it's easy to just pull back and drop an elbow over the top. I've done the same thing in one of my earlier pro fights against Cameron Hardy. I cut him with an elbow as well. And I just feel like I can generate a lot of power behind them, and I know elbows are going to cut people and it's going to do damage. So if I can get them off, then I'll go for them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenal finish, and obviously, it caused a lot of damage. And I'm a massive fan of seeing like all the body parts used in MMA. Even like when McGregor started using these like shoulder nudges in his fight against Cerrone, I was like, yeah, I'm all for it, because it's not what people tend to see. But like, with the elbows, we see it every now and then. But in the fashion, in the way you ended that fight and the damage it caused, it was like, this guy is really doing good things here in terms of his skill. So you're starting to rack up a lot of titles. I mean, you've got the British one, you've got now the golden ticket one. There is another one, but I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Unity.
Unity, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like strap season Bailey. Like, what's next, my man? Like, whatever metal are you gonna claim?
There's some. I've had a few offers. Talking to my coach about it, what route we're going to go down, and it's a great position to be in, to sat with like the opportunities in front of us that I've got right now. Obviously, the main goal is the UFC. At the end of the day, that's where everyone wants to be, and that's where we're going to be. And it's just figuring out which is the best route to go down to get there. But it's an amazing position at a 23-year-old to be sat there and looking at the opportunities that have been presented to us off the back of that win. And I thought, out of all the fights that people are going to watch, most people will watch that one. So to win it in the way I did, I thought, like, if you want Dana White to watch a fight and see you win it, you want to see him win, you want to see blood, you want to see violence, you want to win in that kind of fashion. So,
Yeah, for real. So it's your, like I agree with you. I think Golden Ticket Fight Promotions, I think, is possibly the best show promotion even in the UK. It may not have like the back in the Fight Pass and all these other things, but as we know, young sort of promotions take time to build. So I don't think it'll be long before we see that day. And I think Dan Cassell, the main guy behind the promotion, I think he's a phenomenal person when it comes to promoting, coaching, and everything he does in between. Is your plan to stick around with Golden Ticket until we potentially hear a UFC call, or do you have your eyes on sort of different avenues?
there's probably be moving on to slightly bigger promotions from here on out once we've sat down and decided where we're going. But yeah, I think we'll be moving on to some bigger shows, definitely.
Okay.
But I've got a lot of love for Dan, though. Dan's
Yeah.
a top man. Like, Golden Ticket been great. Like, from getting us on from when I was 2 and 4, and they've been like a big part of this rise and this kind of comeback. So I've got a lot of love for them guys.
Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, exactly as you said it. Like, Golden Ticket, Dan, the guys down there, they're doing a phenomenal job. And I think anyone that's watching this or watches this later on, and are wondering what's Golden Ticket Fight Promotions, get on YouTube, have a look, and find out when the next show is, and you will not be disappointed. Every fight back to back is contender versus contender, 100%. I have one other question for you. And you may be assuming already what it might be. So there's a fighter, a featherweight fighter by the name of Paul Hughes in the Cage Warriors promotion. I believe yourself and Paul will create some huge fireworks. I think that's a massive fight. Even after the whole Jordan Vucenic fight and that sort of stuff that happened, I feel like Paul Hughes has got a lot more time to give on Cage Warriors. I think we haven't seen the best of him yet. With yourself, I'd love to see you on Cage Warriors. I'd love to see you fight maybe 1 or 2 and then potentially go on and fight for that title. I don't think that's premature. I think with your skill set, I think you've got the full capability. And I think that would, from my opinion, definitely open you up more to places like the UFC and so on. What do you think about that? Like about Paul Hughes, about Cage Warriors? Do you think that could be potential avenues you go down?
Yeah, definitely be on the cards. Like, Paul Hughes is like great. I was there. I watched him and Jordan fight live, and it was an amazing fight. But I think Paul will get picked up by the UFC soon enough. But if not, then that's what it is. But I think he's a top class fighter, and I think Cage Warriors has got like an amazing featherweight division. I think they've like it's just stacked with killers all the way through. Like, there's not an easy fight in the featherweight division on Cage Warriors, which is exciting. I like the sound of that. Like, we're here to fight the best people and you get on the UFC by beating the best people. So, yeah.
100%. I think obviously, I don't want to put words in your mouth, and I'm sure you already have an idea where you're going. But I think myself, as well as other MMA fans, would love to see you in the yellow gloves and take over the talent that you have over there and smash up that featherweight division. is there any sort of like is there anything you can tell us about what's next, Bailey?
It's all pending. It's all in the works at the moment. I don't want to say anything till it's down on paper, but I think there's some big news coming soon enough, and I think everyone will be pretty happy about it.
Wicked. I suppose the first sort of battle you need to get through is that Christmas dinner, and then we could talk about what's next on the fight cards.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. I've put some bait away this week. It's been good, but haven't put as much weight on as I expected. But I try not to. I always try and keep myself around a decent weight, just in case like them opportunities come up. Like as Chael Sonnen was saying, the best way to get in the UFC is to be ready for that last minute call up. So I always try and keep my weight right. But yeah, I will be going 5 rounds with my Christmas dinner, like 100%.
Yeah, I think fully deserved as well, mate. I think, you know, to go back-to-back fights as well, like just let yourself live a little. Enjoy some food, maybe a drink or two as well. Why not?
Yeah, mate, I done it at the start of the year as well. Like the start of this year, I was thinking, well, I'm going to do this. I've had it in place, and I knew that by the end of the year, I would have the golden ticket strap. That was definite, and I was going to have the Unity strap as well. BFC hadn't even been mentioned. Golden ticket was meant to be in October, and then that got moved. So we done BFC and golden ticket. And at the start of the year, we done golden ticket and Unity. So I had 4 fights, and the first 2 were back to back, and the second 2 were back to back. So it was crazy the way it worked out. But by the end, I'd done a 16-week camp by the end of both, so I was fit as fire. So I didn't mind.
There we go. There we go. What can you say? When talent meets hard work, we achieve Bailey Gilbert, and what a sight that is. Listen, my man, I'm not going to keep you too long because I know it's a Sunday night and people have better things to do. I want to say thank you for coming on and speaking to me and spending a bit of time with me. And look, I'm super excited. I know all the boys over here at MMA UK are really excited about your future and what's ahead of you. You know, I know everyone's goal is the UFC, and you know that's the big boy of the MMA sort of world. But you know, we've seen recent breakouts with PFL and even guys in Bellator that are doing bits. So, you know, if those are on the cards as well, then whichever it is, I'd love to see you keep competing at that high level. And when that exclusive news is ready to be dropped, you make sure you come back here and you make that announcement. All right, my man?
Yeah, man, we can arrange that 100%. No, I appreciate you having us on. I've got a lot of love for you, man. Like, it has been a while since I've spoken to you, so it's good to get on and do this, like, definitely.
100%. Again, congrats, and enjoy Christmas, and I'll catch up with you in the near future.
You too, man. Cheers.
All right, take care. Bye now, baby.
Bye.